I live in Yorktown, and I'm a Civil War and Rev War historian. So military history-wise, these are standard earthworks you'd even see even into World War One, stuff like that. So it's all they do it a very simple way. Marshal Vauban, the French engineer for Louis XIV in the late 1600s, early 1700s, really came up with this system of fortifications. And you've heard of redoubts.
Yep.
That's a four multiple-sided earth and field fortification. Redan is 2, and usually you can see the gun emplacements in there, the firing steps and other stuff. So we'll see what you have, but these are definitely in the right place to be the Civil War fortifications that are on the extreme left flank of the Union Army of the Potomac.
Why didn't they throw the dirt in front of them and they didn't have to dig it deep as a hole?
Well, first of all, we're leading a group of people. We don't want to. You have to jump. What you want them to do is have it deep enough, and sometimes they have things called abattis in front of it, and other things because they don't have barbed wire back then. You would come in handy. So you're the
you're the guy.
You're the sapper or the miner. So you have a leather apron in the Rev War, and you hatch through all that stuff, and then you jump in. If you have a ditch in front of you, that's going to make them not just be able to jump into you, and then you can stab them or shoot them or whatever as they're coming up. So that's there's reasons why they do all of that. It's supposed to drain a certain way. You don't want the earth to fall back on you, and you don't want it to fall in a ditch. So all of it is stuff I didn't pay attention to in school. Higher mathematics, physics, and all that type of stuff, and they did it before they had calculators.
So they didn't stay in the trench when they were defending. They stayed behind the
They were behind, where Bill is on the other side.
They stayed behind the pile.
They would be over in front of that way shooting towards you because you want all of that as a protection.
Gotcha.
So this line of fortifications that start here at Kimmages Creek, they go in that direction and run all the way to Westover Church and back toward the river is there to protect those 110,000 men that are in the Union Army of the Potomac. Because they've already come up from Fort Monroe in March of 1862. They stopped where I work at Lee Hall Mansion. That's the Confederate headquarters, and there was a 12-mile line of fortifications from the James River to the York River. That slowed them down for 3.5 weeks. Then they get up to about within 7 miles of Richmond by the end of May, and then they fight the 7 days battles between the end of June and first part of July, and then they keep retreating even though they outnumber the Confederate Army of Northern Virginia under Robert E. Lee, and he pushes them into this area, and the U.S. Navy's down at Harrison's Landing. Deepwater access, they have the Monitor, they have other heavy gunboats and other things, so they're not going anywhere, and they're dug in, and Lee can't push them out of here, but they're not going anywhere either. They had enough firepower to really take the Confederate capital, but this is part of the last part of the Peninsula Campaign in 1862, because they'll stay from the first part of July through probably the end of August up to the first part of September, just off the top of my head.
You're close. You're close. I cheated and looked at the book. I think they bailed out of here about mid-August.
Yeah. Well, they started arriving.
There were troops moving out in August.
Well, they arrive in Yorktown. Some of them come back to Yorktown as late as September, but they do start bailing out somewhere in August because they're going back to Manassas because there's a big battle up there.
Get back up in Northern Virginia.
Because
catch up with Lee.
Because Second Manassas, they're already
was
doing that. But you've got a really historic piece of property, and you've got some. I mean, you have remnants of the last Union fortifications from the Peninsula Campaign. Good job.
Awesome.
So I mean,
be here as long as I'm here.
I've worked. I'm a professional historian, and Bill's been on my tour since 2000. So 21 years later, we're still getting out in the field and doing this. I was a little bit older than he was, but I was only in my late 20s when I started to work for the city of Newport News. So, and I've written a couple of books on the Peninsula Campaign. So that's what I like when you do the book work and you do the map work, and then you come out and actually see it. That's really when that's what public history really means a lot to me. Because you get to meet people that have interest in the same way you do.
Yeah, it means a lot to him too. That's why
yeah,
he did everything he could to get this property.
Yeah, I had to have it. When I saw it, I'm like, I gotta have that. We gotta make this work.
Well, it's definitely something that you and your family can enjoy.
Yep.
Oh yeah. Now, you said you saw some earthworks back behind the
Did you?
fence line.
Yeah, I'll take you back to them.
No.
I figure what we'll do is we'll walk down the trench line. We'll go out into the field. I'll
Okay.
take you to the other side of the property. It's not my
Hey.
property over there, but
the
it's
air
close
field.
enough.
It's the airfield, isn't it?
We'll go through the airfield.
Okay.
And on the other side of the airfield, the other property, there's a artillery. I'm pretty sure it's artillery. You can tell me, but it's a very large circle area. The moat on that is twice as deep as these.
Does it have gun ramps and embrasures? Can you
The
see?
back of it